How do you find the will to fight back against a world that wants to keep you sedated, average, and stuck in place? Join us for the tools and strategies you need to create a life of abundance, discipline, and high achievement. This is the Tactical Empire with Jeff Smith.
Welcome to another episode of the Tactical Empire. I am back with Sean today. What's up, man? How are you?
Not much. I'm representing my App State football gear. It's not even close to football season, but they just released their schedule, so I know which games we're going to try and make it to in Boone, North Carolina next year. I
love it. So you can block out your Airbnb.
I did. They're playing, my wife is a James Madison alum. So this year, the football game is in Boone. And lo and behold, that is the November 23rd game. So it could either be half decent or it could be the frozen tundra. But, hopefully it's in the 50s or 60s, not the teens.
Man, I have changed my tune on that. I grew up my entire life a Notre Dame fan, and still I'm not a diehard fan anymore. I think like COVID kind of ruined sports for me. I fucking hate all pro sports, and I'm hanging on by a thread to like college football because it's like the most organic sport I feel like. And we'll see
now,
if NIL changes that. Yeah.
Now you got like the third string running backs are asking for like 50 grand to come to your school. It's ridiculous.
Right. But being in northern Indiana, we've spent some fucking seriously freezing cold Saturdays sitting in those stands. And like Kirsten and I used to go up for multiple games every year from Texas. And we stopped going after like October 15th and wouldn't even book any games after that just because it's miserable. It's miserable. When I was younger, I was all for it.
Yeah, I hear you. Like I'm looking at the Liberty game in Boone, September 28th. September 28th in the mountains of North Carolina sounds a lot better than 60 days later in the mountains of North Carolina. So
yeah, we're going to be in Notre Dame September 21st this year.
Perfect. It's perfect weather.
It'll be t-shirts. So.
Yes. Oh man. We've had some physical fog and some mental fog the past week or two, but your family had some belly bugs going on, but I want to tell the people today's topic is the importance of just fitness and health in your journey to success. And so we can be viewed as these hard chargers, like discipline over everything, get your shit done. But life happens, whether it's a physical illness or you're just going through some stressful times. I've had a little bit of a mental fog for 7 days, but the one thing I stuck to was my healthy habits because it's literally one of the most important things to me. But we were talking before we got on here about how you basically stuck to your top 3 things every single day, whether it was a physical thing or a work thing. So why don't I toss it to you and you can kind of talk to the people about how you kind of prioritize your health and fitness and why it is so vitally important to the journey that you're on.
Yeah. I mean, for me, we've been traveling for almost 2 weeks and like in 6 people and a 100-pound dog in a car or in our SUV and staying in hotels. And so it wasn't really an ideal situation. Like you said, we had a stomach virus come through our entire family and throwing up and everything else. And so that laid us up and really altered our plans. But the 2 things that I did get done every single day, like I said to you, were I always set aside 3 critical tasks for the day. And those are not my fitness. Those are not simple habits. Those are actually like critical tasks for business or investing. And for me, like that's a vital portion. And the other thing I did was exercise regularly every single day. But I was unable to get in the gym and do my regular routine. So it was kind of like, let's just take the dog out and go 45 minutes to an hour with the dog and get him moving so that he's not stir crazy in the hotel rooms and he's got to ride in a car and everything else. I drug my son out, ran him, because the boys need run no matter what. And
Mm-hmm.
so like for me, my mental health really is kind of associated with like how much I can be resilient and then also like be productive.
Sure.
And for me, I know from just years of experience that I have to build in that productivity time at some point throughout the day. For me, I was able to do it front loaded because everybody was sleeping, which was great. And so I would usually go downstairs into the hotel lobby at 5 or 6 in the morning. And by the time they're up at 8 o'clock, which is no different than my regular schedule, I'm able to compress time and do my critical tasks before everybody gets up. But that is really, really an important piece of what I do on a regular basis. And it's what compounds my results for one, but it also keeps me from being anxious and not present the remainder of the day. Because if I don't do that stuff, I can start like categorizing tasks that I have like on my plate. Like my brain just goes 1,000 miles an hour and it gets totally inundated and preoccupied with shit I need to be doing. And I can't focus on anything regarding my family or my kids or anything like that. So like we'll do hard stops and like I'll just go away for an hour and spend some computer time to like take care of the things I need to take care of, because otherwise that's just my personality. I get so caught up in what we have to do. I literally cannot focus on like enjoying time. Like if you told me a perfect example of this that affects me is like sit down and watch a movie or do like a family movie. I physically cannot do it if I have like these open items that I need to be doing. And I'm better than I used to be because like I understand that the work's always going to be there and that like it's never going to go away. Like I'll never clear my plate ever. And so like having a little bit of patience for that is good, but like I just have to be productive. I have to. And so like when I have open items or people are waiting on things for me and I'm the bottleneck, like that's another time when I'm like, I can't be the bottleneck. I can't be the stopping point for this situation. Like it's sitting on my desk waiting for me and like I need to move it. And so like those are the two things I really focused on. I didn't focus on shit else as far as like, I mean, we ate Monocle's pizza. If you're ever in Illinois or Indiana, like you have to eat Monocle's pizza with the French dressing. It's the best thing you've ever had. So every time we go back to Central Illinois like that, we eat there multiple times. But like I just kind of settled into I need to keep moving the ball on those critical tasks and then I need to work out and like that's it.
Well, how about this? Like, I mean, you got a little bit of, you got some assets behind you. You got a little bit of money that you can play with. But why aren't you a fat fuck?
Because it correlates. I mean, if you want to be like raw and transparent about it, like I think it correlates. Like
Boom,
being able to take care of yourself in any arena is important. Like we've talked about being a capable man before, and I don't need to go down that rabbit hole necessarily, but like, can you stick to your habits and get your shit done on a regular basis? And like, I think that taking pride in your physical appearance and taking pride in your actual fitness level and capacity, work capacity are like important to me. And they're just as important as business and assets and finances and everything else. They're in alignment. How about you?
Well, yeah, I kind of just wanted to say it bluntly there. So I don't think the people listening are going to be butthurt by that phrase. But, I think, man, I've been going to the gym since 8th grade. I've told that story before. My buddy, most ripped kid in 8th grade, invited me to the YMCA, and I haven't stopped going since that night. First time I walked in and saw, grown ass men lifting weight. And obviously my fitness has changed. My goals have changed. But one thing that has stayed the priority in my life is health, fitness. And at the end of the day, it's not about performing in the gym as it is the aesthetics and the longevity. I want to look good for myself and my wife, like period. It's an aesthetic vanity metric. And I want to live a good life as long as possible. I'm not going to stand here and say, I want to live to be 120. I want to live as long as I can and also be able to perform as long as I can in all areas of life. And I think the sole way to do that is by prioritizing your health and fitness. And it's interesting because you and I are hard driven men, and we're in, the Taco Empire together, and we're leading these group of men, but our order of operations are differently because of the context of our life, right? Like you guys homeschool, you're with your kids basically every day, all day long. And so for you, waking up at 4:30 Central time and getting your shit done totally makes sense. For me, I want nothing to do with that. I want to be able to sleep, I want to be able to sleep till 6, right before my kids get up, start my little bit of a morning routine and have some family time before we send them off to school and daycare. And then literally as soon as they leave, it's walking my dogs and heading to the gym. So none of my work gets done until after I've worked out. And the reason why I don't wake up, I used to wake up at 4:30 to go work out first, but that's because I had a 9-to-5 job and me and my wife didn't have kids. So we'd go to the gym together. But now since she's got the 9-to-5 and I have more flexibility, she gets to go to the gym first thing in the morning. So I loved working out at 5 o'clock in the morning, doing the very first thing. So I've had to adjust that over the past, 7, 8, 9 years. But I think, one, it is super important to me. Two, it's not only a short term, it makes me feel good. And it gives me, here's like the tactical thing. It gives me the energy to perform in my job. It gives me the energy to get on a call at 2:00 in the afternoon and mentor these men. It gives me the energy to pick up my kids. Today, it's the beginning of March and it's 65 degrees. Like I'm going to pick my kids up from school at 3:15 and we're going right to the park. Right. And they're going to ask me to chase them. Right. Like it's rare. Now I do this. Sometimes I am the parent that's sitting on the damn bench and watching them. But normally that's on Saturday or Sunday after we've already run around the gym for an hour or two. But when they ask me to chase them, I want to be the dad that can literally climb the rope and climb the rock wall at the 2 to 3 story playground that we go to. So like from a micro level, day-to-day family thing, I think it's super important. Now talk big picture and call me whatever name you want to call me. But I think how you look is a direct reflection of your work ethic and your discipline and your priorities. Everyone can define success differently. And so if your only metric for success is your income or money in the bank, like so be it. But if you're obese and you can't even walk up the flight of steps, or you never choose the stairs and you always choose the elevator to go up one floor, I judge you. I'm just gonna be straight with you. Like I judge you, and I look at the people I do business with, and they're healthy people, dude. And I'm so it's probably come off really bad because I'm not trying to be like PG, or I didn't write up a transcript to do this podcast. But like the older I get and the more I look around at society and the more I look at the average person in today's world, like it's frustrating to me, because these are the same people that are complaining about not being ahead. These are the same people complaining about the price of eggs. And it's like, they think there's no correlation between their health and their finances and their success. So why don't you take it?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I think it's a willingness to like not make fucking excuses, because in anyone that and there is a direct correlation between like, will I partner with you? Will I do business with you? Do I want to be around you? Are you going to run in my circle? Like, I don't have any judgment against someone that's overweight necessarily, but if you come to me and you tell me like you're going to lose 100 pounds and you tell me that multiple times and you don't do it, I can 100% draw a correlation between like, you do not follow through on what you say you're going to do. And most of the people are like, I'm too busy, I'm too this, I'm too that. And that just means that you're willing to make excuses and not optimize your time. Like it just exposes a lot of different things about people. And now some people could have like a valid excuse that they just don't fucking like fitness and they don't really care, because it's not even ingrained in them like it's been in you and I. Like my background is college football and special operations. So of course you've been working out since 8th grade and played college football. Yes, our background is fitness and it's built into us as a habit over time, over decades. And so like, if you don't care about it, that's okay. But like, ultimately, I'll be honest, like not from a judgment standpoint, just kind of like a libertarian standpoint, like do whatever the fuck you want to do. Like if you run in my circle and you have kids and it doesn't matter to you, that's a red flag to me that like we just don't share the same value set. Like, because like I think that there's just certain aspects of it that are important, and they translate to like being the most effective father you can be, being the most attractive spouse you could be, which I think is something you should be focused on. Like you should still fucking date your wife, and you shouldn't show up like a fat slob like, hey, I threw a ring on that and I'm gonna get whatever I want whenever I want, regardless of what I eat or how I look, because like that's not the way the world works, man. And so I think that everything you've said is perfectly fair. And but I also think that it's probably it needs to be said more often to people, because it's not a bigoted way to look at things. It's just like you're not on the journey with me, and like we're not going to the same place. And so when I look for the people I'm going to surround myself with, I want you don't have to be fucking perfect by any means.
Oh, sure.
Like, because I am a very flawed individual. But I'm trying to get better every single day.
Sure.
And that's what I would ask of anyone that's around me. Like, are you trying to improve your situation? And I mean, if you're fat and you're stuck being overweight, like you need to go get your hormones checked. Like, because if you've done the work and nothing's changed, then we can look into a medical issue. But like 95% of people, it's a personal issue on sticking to what you say you're going to do, and then formulating the habits and having efficient and effective use of your time. Because I mean, there's probably not too many people that could put their shit up against mine on being busier than me. And so like, and I find time to work out. And like you said, my kids are with us 100% of the time. And so we are busy with everything that we've got going on, everything we're running, and the obligations that we have. And like, I mean, we have client obligations, we have business obligations, we've got relationship obligations. And so like to say you don't have time is just a fucking invalid excuse, in my opinion. And like, there's ways to do anything, like hotel room workouts, bedroom workouts. Most people, like, that's enough for a starting point anyway. Because like I'm a proponent, because I'm fucking old, and like I'm a proponent of, I think mobility is more important than a lot of this shit as I am in my 40s. Like for me, that's what's breaking down more than anything. And if I don't spend time on mobility, I can feel that health span shrinking, because like being able to go ass to grass on a squat and stuff like that, and like how many cracks do you have on the way down there now these days than when you were 25 and used to be able to load shit up and put 400 on the bar and go, like no big deal. And so when people think about their fitness, the starting point does not have to be like way the fuck down the field. It can be like 15 minutes of mobility and walking. But like that is a starting point.
I mean, just a reverse order of what you just dropped there. Like, if you literally aren't doing anything, we have a podcast on what you and I do for fitness. And then we made some suggestions. And I think it was literally just go for a 15-minute walk. And ideally you would do that right after you ate something, because again, I'm not really into the medical side of all this, but it really brings everything back quicker if you just kind of eat and then go for a 15-minute walk. But I think that's the lowest hanging fruit everyone should be doing. Focus on your nutrition and then go for a walk. But I loved what you said there about it's a misalignment of values. And I think that's why I get irritated and frustrated. And one thing that I have to understand, and it comes off as aggressive, it's just like, hey, you're not my people. Right. You're not my people. I can't be everything for everyone, and everyone can't be everything to me. So the older I get, the more I understand who my people are. And I'm just going to start doing business and build relationships. And like that circle gets a little tighter the older I get. And because the higher you go up the mountain, the less people are climbing at that level. And I just had to understand that not everyone can breathe at these altitudes. And it was like, well, fuck. I would actually have a lot of respect for the people that hate exercise, don't want to do exercise, and aren't doing anything about it, if they just said that. But as a former gym owner of 12 years, I saw a ton of the opposite. Right. And maybe you can speak to that too. Like a lot of people come in, they literally give you their whole life story. and which they've never probably said to even their spouse. They might have said it to their therapist, but they're pouring their life story out on your desk in a consultation, and they're crying. And like sometimes these people get in it, they show up, they get consistent, they keep that motivation, it changes and it develops into discipline, and they get results. Unfortunately, more often than not, they didn't commit. And, for various reasons, but for me, it's like they weren't truthful in that meeting. They truly, the pain wasn't deep enough yet, whether or not they cried in the meeting. But just don't lie. Just don't lie about what you actually want. But if you're sitting here and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm that person that doesn't like working out, then you're not the person that's going to go do it on your own. So this goes back to our thing about like, you have to hire people.
Yeah.
Right. It may not be a mentor, but it's going to be a health or fitness coach. Right.
Yeah.
If you say you're unmotivated, then you should not be the person that just signs up at the gym that you have to show up to and have access to equipment. You need to go hire someone. Like I work out at a traditional gym, dude. There's freaking 8 personal trainers on the floor all day long, and they're nonstop working with clients. They're like, there's tons of people that don't want to be there. They want the guidance. They don't have the knowledge. They know they need to pay a premium price and have a time allocated, but you just have to make sure that investment exceeds the value of the other things that you're doing in your life. Because I've had very wealthy people pay me a lot of money for 30, 45, 60 minutes of fitness coaching back when I owned the gym, and they wouldn't show up. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's because they went and made more than what I was charging them to the other thing that was more important to them. So like, you have to make sure that your investment exceeds the trade-off between the other things that you're finding way more important than your time for fitness.
Yeah, there's a correlation to everything, though, to this. I mean, like, I think fitness is just the lowest hanging fruit of developing discipline because it could be free. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Are you exercising on a regular basis? Like, start right now and see for the next 100 days how many days you can actually physically move your body. And if you can get above 90%, you're pretty dialed in. Then you can start thinking about like, okay, what's the next tier of fitness look like for me? Maybe it's lifting weights. Maybe it's getting a personal trainer. Like nothing's different than with your finances or your business goals either. Right. It's the same type of thing. But that's why we all seek coaches and accountability groups and mentors in everything we're doing. Now, fitness is one that I don't really feel like I need a coach, but I do sometimes buy programming, because I don't like that portion of it. I can do it. I've got a lot of background in it. My wife can do it. She's a precision nutrition coach. She's been writing my programming for fucking like 9 months now. But like, I used to buy programming all the time because I don't like the thinking portion of that. And I do like the like surprise. And so like getting that dopamine response of, oh, this looks fucking filthy. Like, like I get to go do that, or that's going to kill me. Like I personally enjoy that. Some people that scares off, that from the gym industry and stuff like that. But like, so I just think this is one other thing that's just an example of how like committed you are to the results that you're going to get. And for me, I don't know if this is true for you, but some of the most successful people, most of the most successful people I know share the same qualities. And those qualities are like, they have a routine. They are habit driven. They do the same thing every day. Like if you met a bunch of type A's in your gym that were super successful, had high net worths and stuff like that. And those guys were usually your most driven people. They were your most consistent people. They showed up, they knew the value of fitness from a mental acuity standpoint. So can they be sharp and focused all day? Can they keep their mental health together while dealing with all these stressors within their business? Is it their 1 hour to like decompress and like have time to themselves, push themselves in a physical way because they're pushing themselves mentally all day? Like there is just so much correlation to taking care of your body so that it can produce on this business level and financial level. And people, I think, underestimate that because of it's because of the corporate culture. And like I would say, having spent 18 years in the corporate world, I know that there's fucking donuts and bonbons and candy bowls and shit everywhere. So if you want to put on 100 pounds, go get a corporate job in a cubicle and just eat all the shit that's in the fucking lunchroom every day. And you'll do it. But those people are not asked to perform at the level that most high achievers are asked to perform in most cases. There are exceptions to that rule, but like, I think those of us that are looking for new levels and to unlock different potential within themselves understand that physical fitness is a crucial component to that, because you don't wake up every day feeling like shit. You have to perform at a high level. You can optimize your time, right? We only have so many hours in a day to work, and we're always trying to get more and more efficient with those hours. If you could show up sharp as hell and go into flow state, then like, and you've practiced that type of thing, like you're going to be far more effective than someone that's doing 8 hours a day and they're eating candy on the way to work, drinking pop all day, and fucking listening to trash ass music or whatever it is. And they're not in the right frame to operate like effectively.
Yeah, I want to reiterate something you said there is like, fitness is the lowest hanging fruit. And a lot of people might scoff at that just because they have these imaginary barriers to entry in terms of fitness. And hopefully we dummied it down a little bit today on like, just go for a walk. But like, if we look at, let's just say the pillars of what we teach, and it's like maybe your family relationship, whether that's your marriage or your relationship with your kids, is not up to snuff. Maybe your career is not up to snuff. Maybe your money isn't right. Maybe your health and fitness isn't right. Maybe your mental health isn't right. That's a lot, and that's daunting. And like, someone might say, well, I made a post the other day about prioritizing and focusing. They would say, well, my family's more important. This all more. So which one should I do first? I should get my mental health right. I should get my relationship right, or else my wife is going to leave me. And it's like, no, if you start to move your body, the other things may start to fall into place. And I think that is the reinforcement, just framed a little bit differently than what you just said. Like, you start moving your body, you will feel better. You start eating a little bit better, you will feel better. You start getting outside in the sun during your lunch break, you will feel better. You stop drinking 45-gram sugar-filled soda, you will not have a crash. You start taking your kids to the park and seeing them move their body. You might not be able to chase them yet, but just walk around the perimeter of the park instead of sitting on the bench. You will feel better. And over time, this is not going to happen overnight, but over time, you will see an improvement in the other areas. And that's really why I brought the topic up today, man. I'm just so tired. Even if we aren't in alignment on our values, it's just so frustrating seeing pictures from the 1970s of the people at the beaches in the United States versus today. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, like, we are choosing to play the wrong game here. Yeah, a lot of you are choosing to play the wrong game. You need to take back control. And it starts with a choice. It starts with one day of action, and don't overdo it. Don't be, Braveheart and go right into the battle. Take it easy, slow it down. If you're one of those people that are not into fitness, that isn't excited about it. But again, you don't do what Jeff does. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to do what you see Instagram influencers who are 22 without a husband and kids are doing. Like, you don't need to do that shit. Just get outside, walk your dogs, and put what'd you call it? The Twinkies and the dodos? What the hell did you say?
Bonbons, I think.
The
Donuts and bonbons. I don't know.
Where do you get that from? Buc-ee's? We don't have Buc-ee's up here.
I don't know. I don't even know what a fucking bonbon is. But
me neither.
I'm aging myself.
You want to know what I miss? I do miss a good honey bun. Like, I loved honey buns. Out of the vending machines, that was my jam in college, man. I love a honey bun.
Treat yourself then.
I should treat myself, but they're like 65 grams of sugar on those. It'd give me an instant headache. That's for sure. I might be sitting on the toilet for a week. Put me.
Oh man, well, this was good, dude.
Send the people out.
Yeah, man. I think that this is all correlated. That's why our pillars are built the way they're built: fitness, family, freedom, finances. If you want to improve in any area of those, like, you've got to build habits for each of them. Simplest habits will be a great place to start. But if you just start working on one of these areas, you're going to pull up the other areas. It's the way it works. So this has been a good episode, dude. Appreciate it.
All right. I concur with the message. All right, man. Y'all follow us on Instagram. Our tags are on the YouTube video. If you want to get into our free Facebook group, the Tactical Empire Community free group, post in there, ask questions, DM us on Instagram. We got you. And if you have any topics for the podcast, we'd love to hear them and we'll jam on it.